We are back in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And A-plus mock drafts keep coming out from the NFC West at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Greene putting out the best mock draft rankings, or the, NFL draft prospect rankings and mock drafts and such over at NFLDraft.net. With the Los Angeles Rams, it seems to me that, well, at least in my case, I have settled myself on the Rams are taking a quarterback in the first round.
I am not so sure they're going to get the opportunity to take a quarterback in the first round.
They may not. What would be their A-plus scenario for you? Would it include the quarterback?
No, I mean, I do have a quarterback, but it's not that high.
Okay.
So the thing you got to remember with LA is if you take Matthew Stafford away, I don't feel like this is a Super Bowl team. So the idea of sitting Jackson Dart, I love the idea of Dart with Sean McVay. I don't love the idea of using a first-round pick when, I mean, Stafford could still play 2 more years. He's only 36 years old. So you start getting into that Aaron Rodgers, taking a guy to replace a guy, that really takes you more out of a window than it does prolong a window. So I would rather you play into being in the window now. So I want to address one of my biggest needs. If I'm the Rams, my biggest needs are I need a cornerback badly. They play a high level of zone. They play a high amount of man compared to the rest of the NFL. So I need somebody that holds up in man but can still play zone. I'd like an edge, and then I get into the more medium needs. Young offensive tackle, young quarterback. I'd like to get a 5-tech here at some point. I want to add a linebacker, a guard, and a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. So with the 26th pick, who's the corner?
It's Trey Amos. When you look at the Rams and you realize that they play the 9th highest percentage of man coverage in the league, you realize that it's not going to be Savon Ravel. It's not going to be Maxwell Hairston. Those guys don't. Ravel can hold up in man. He's just never been asked to. Hairston can't. I've physically seen it. He needs to go to one of those super high zone teams. Trey Amos is one of the last guys that I think you can expect him to come in and start right away. And I absolutely love the way he plays. I said it on a podcast the other day that Trey Amos plays like he's trying to get somebody in his family to be proud of him because he's so aggressive. And when he gets his hands on you, good things tend to happen. Man coverage grade was a 75.4 last year, which is really high. What makes him a first-round pick to me? Last year at Ole Miss, I saw him play zone. I'd never seen that before. And he was incredibly good. And maybe it was that he was better than I expected more than he was great in zone. I expected him to be a liability. And he wasn't. Kid's got a track background. He only ran a 4.43, but he ran a 4.43 at over 6 foot, almost to 6'1". His play speed is not great at times, but he is really good at throttling it back, throttling it up. He's super athletic. The arm length is a positive for him. 31 and a fourth, one of the longer sets of arms among cornerbacks in this class. I love the kid. I think he's a no-doubt first-round pick. I've had him all the way up at 20. I think he'd be great value at 26.
All right, the Rams' second-round pick belongs to the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
So their third-round pick comes up at 90.
This is another player that I've already mentioned. I had him in San Francisco's mock. I think he is really intriguing if you stand him up. It's Kyle Kennard. I haven't really heard anybody talk about how does he project that way? Does he appear to be a guy that can hold up that way? He ran a 4.73 at the combine, which is not blindingly fast. It's also not incredibly slow. And I feel like a lot of people just looked at that and went, nope, he can never stand up ever. Well, maybe he can. Maybe he can. The 1-7 10-yard split really bothers me. But then I got into the 3-cone, and the 3-cone was a 7.25. I think that's possible. But even if it's not, in obvious pass rushing situations, he just comes in as a situational pass rusher on the opposite side of verse with Fiske in between them. That's a really formidable four-man front.
Yes, it is.
And I don't care who the other one is. It doesn't really matter. I need more pass rush if I'm the Rams, and I think Kyle Kennard is a way to get it right there at 90. Not having a second-round pick really burns them.
Right. But they do have another third-round pick.
They do.
With
a
compensatory pick at 101. So a chance to make up a little bit here.
For sure. This is, for me, kind of a longer-term play. It's also a little bit of a protection play. I'm going to go Charles Grant, the offensive tackle out of William and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams notoriously do not tell you anybody that comes in the building, and they don't do top 30 visits. So it's really hard to forecast what they're going to do. But I think a young offensive tackle is really high on the list of things that they're going to need. Because you look out on the right side, and you've got a really old right tackle in Rob Havenstein. He's 33. He's also one of the only completely gray-headed offensive linemen in the league. You got Alaric Jackson on the other side that you just invested in. I want to book in tackles for the long haul. There are also people that think he can play guard. I think he could. I just don't necessarily understand it. He's more of a, for that first year, you can cross-train him at everything. He's your swing for a year, and your ultimate goal is that he's the guy that replaces Rob Havenstein a couple years from now.
Charles Grant out of William and Mary at 101. 127.
This is where, to me, you get the arm. And look, I've talked about how much I would like Jackson Dart with Sean McVay. I would also like Quinn Ewers with Sean McVay. Quinn Ewers has got one of the better arms you will ever see. He's just so incredibly sporadic. If I'm going to invest in a quarterback to play in this system, I want it to be somebody that can do a lot of the same things that Matthew Stafford can. Am I crazy saying that?
No.
I've built this offense around Matthew Stafford. Quinn Ewers can do a lot of the same things that Matthew Stafford can. He's got a crazy live arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's got unbelievable arm talent. The problem is he has some horrifically bad feet. They get really happy when they're pressured. They're really inconsistent, even sometimes in a clean pocket. Is there anybody in this league right now that would be better to tutor a quarterback that already has the arm, just needs all of the stupid things, than Sean McVay?
No.
Exactly.
I don't believe so.
Gambit fan said Quinn Sewers will just never go away, apparently. I do not understand what it is about him that people hate so much as a prospect. I'll never understand it.
Mm-hmm.
PFF, would you like to hear the list of quarterbacks that PFF has listed ahead of Quinn Ewers?
Yes.
I'm going to do it in reverse order, from absolutely insane to you should be committed immediately because you are a danger to yourself and others.
Okay.
Will Howard.
Uh-huh.
Jalen Milroe.
Uh-huh.
Riley Leonard. And
What?
Dylan Gabriel.
Are
you kidding me?
Yikes.
Are you kidding me? Dylan Gabriel's 4'6". Quinn Ewers has a good arm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Steve Sarkisian is I don't think he's a great prospect coach. Because if you really look back at the quarterbacks that have come out of that system, man, there's been a lot of flaws that guys are very collegial when they come out of a Steve Sarkisian offense. That doesn't mean that they can't play.
I was going to say, has he ever had one that's supposed to be good? Other
Depends
than
on
Ewers?
depends on when you're starting they should be good. That goes back a ways. I don't have it up in front of me, but there have been
Right.
some high-level recruits that never became pro-level prospects.
There's no doubt about that. They've always been able to get, high school talent to come to Texas. Problem is that they haven't churned out any real prospects to the NFL.
I was going all the way back to USC.
Yeah.
Through Alabama as the coordinator and then to Texas. He's not done a good job of making quarterbacks NFL ready. So to me, I'm looking at Dart, who's 22 years old. By the way, that's 2.5 years younger than Dylan Gabriel. It's half a year younger than Riley Leonard, 2 years younger than Will Howard. He's younger than Jalen Milroe. The only quarterback prospect that has any kind of draftable grade that is younger than Quinn Ewers is Jackson Dart, and it's by 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I just think people are throwing dirt on Quinn Ewers too early, and if he goes to a good quarterback coach, I think there's something there.
4 picks left for the Los Angeles Rams, and all of them come in the 6th round in a 12-pick span. 190. Where do you go there?
Ahmad Hassanen, edge rusher out of Boise State. He's a 5-tech, and I don't really think he has a role in a 4-man front. So it's kind of hard for me to say edge. I don't really think he translates as a defensive tackle, but in that base set, he would be a 5-tech. He's really good against the run. Really good against one of the better run defenders in this class. And if you look at what the Rams already have with Fiske, I added Kennard. They got a lot of guys that are pass rush specific, so adding in a player that can hold up against the run is rather intriguing to me.
All right, at 195.
I told you there were a couple linebackers that I saw on the inside of a 3-4. One of them, also a good run defender, Cody Lindenberg out of Minnesota. He's never going to hold up in coverage, so he's a first 2-down linebacker, but I do think he would be a nice split for the Rams with him and Omar Spates playing it on early downs, and then he would cede to Tony Fields later.
All right, and then 202, 201, and 202.
201 is Marcus Weir, guard out of Montana State. I really like the raw of him, but obviously level of competition is going to be a big jump. He's a year away from really being a contributor, but the raw in him is really intriguing. And then at 202, hey, the last time the Rams took a wide receiver out of Eastern Washington, that went pretty good, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that went real good, actually. So let's do it again with Efton Chisholm, wide receiver out of Eastern Washington.
Old Efton.
He is a smaller guy, but my God, he is fun to watch. Mm-hmm. That kid just seems like he's open all the time.
Yes.
Gotten a lot of momentum here late in the process, and there have been a lot of comps, oddly enough, to Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I believe we need to make shirts for Efton, too. That say, Efton damn near killed him.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Go Chisholm. I don't know. The A-plus mock draft for the Los Angeles Rams.
Everybody should be constantly on the aware that they don't catch the Chisholm.
Yes. You're in the Sportsocracy. And this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 AFC West. A-plus mock drafts begin here on ESPN Asheville after this.